government control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Good afternoon and welcome to the Business Zone. It is Friday, January 13th. January 19th. We are already 19 days into a new year. And today we have a phenomenal guest coming on. Gilbert should be here shortly. And we want to welcome you guys here. Hope you've had a great week. My name is Crystal Mitchell, and I am one of the co hosts of the Business Zone. And Mr. Gilbert Coach Buchanan, Gilbert Buchanan, he is the my partner. So welcome. So hopefully you guys have had a fantastic week. It's been a busy week. We're leading up to um, uh, Black History Month. We just celebrated MLK Day. Hopefully you did your service work for that particular day. It's some wonderful things going on. I hear there was a bus in Los Angeles that was the Rosa Parks bus. Many of the leaders actually got an opportunity to participate on the bus, so that was pretty cool. I just did some service and some catch up work for my business. Just took a day just to work on my business. So, how's your year going? What have you guys been up to? And so I hope it's been productive thus far as we've just come into. So today we're going to talk about the disparity of women entrepreneurs. There are a lot of things that are going on in the business community, um, some challenges that we have with certain programs that are relatable to the minority business population, so which greatly affects all of us. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But one of the things we definitely want to talk about is women in business and what that looks like, and what challenges and what celebrations that we have for women in business. We're going to talk a little bit about voting, how important that is, and because this year is going to be really important for all of us to get out and vote. So hopefully you guys have plans to do that. But voting and how it affects us economically and our business community economically is important topic that should be discussed, and how important that is for us to get out there and vote. So there's a number of things that's going to be happening, and we encourage you all to do so. So let's talk a little bit about the economics of voting. What does that mean? For our small business communities and our business communities, especially our minority business communities. What does that? How does that affect us? And so, for a lot of us that are in, I think the first level of voting and the importance of it is from the local levels, from um, your municipalities, your judicial systems, your educational systems. These are the things that really affect uh, us and where we live, right? So it's really important that you understand what you're voting for. Do your research so that you can make sure and do your research on the candidates. Sometimes I think we get our voting card and we just click buttons and pretty much worry about voting for the presidents and those entities and the vice presidents and your senators and so forth, because you know their names. But even more importantly is to understand who you're voting in the school boards, and not just your um, from a college level. from the local school districts. Those are very, very important. Also, understanding what the propositions that are on the ballot, because they affect us, the people, and they affect how we do business. They affect how funds are received into the community. They affect how funds are in capital or made available to for our small businesses when that's necessary. The judicial system, who the judges are, that affects the safety of us as a community. And so all of those things are very important. So we're going to be touching on that um, leading up to, but most importantly, March 5th is a very important time, and we really should be getting prepared for that. Well, my co-host is not here, but my guest is here. So I think I'm gonna bring my guest in, and my co-host is just gonna have to join us later. So we're gonna bring her in. Let me just get a little bit of information um, on who she is and what she does, and then she's gonna lead us into even further. So here we go. We're gonna bring in the guest. Hello, how are you? I don't know if I can hear you.
Hello,
So
hello. Can
there
you hear
you
me?
go. Hi, how are you?
I'm well, very well.
Well, we're happy to have you here. Gilbert should be coming in soon. He was coming in from Pasadena, I think, or not coming into the studio, but getting to his home studio. So we're so happy to have you here. So,
Awesome. Yes,
so this is Niall Cook, right? Or Niall?
Niall.
Niall Cook. And you have your own business. And soon as I get my let's see, Gilbert is having struggles. Let me get my your bio up, and then that can help me out. And you can actually start telling me who you are as well. What?
So I'm Niall Cook. I'm the owner of Avracom. We are a small business academy, or to the government, we're a technical assistance center dedicated to closing the gap for women entrepreneurs. We build culturally responsive programs so that women with great ideas can start businesses. That's our
Okay.
that's our whole jam.
That's your whole
Jam.
and so how did you get into that business, and what was the motivation, and any challenges that you may have had when you first got started, or I'm sure that's what motivated you.
Yes. Well, we started as a web design company. My background is mechanical engineering. I studied mechanical engineering and physics at LSU and Southern University. I'm a Louisiana Creole. I'm from Louisiana originally. We're in
Okay.
LA now. Um, and I had a class at Southern University called Entrepreneurship for Engineers, and I had a class with an entrepreneur, with the engineering professor named Dr. Dwayne Jarrow. I always like to give him credit. We talked about adding a class called Entrepreneurship for Engineers, because there's so many things that you don't know as an engineer. You don't know that you don't own your ideas when you work for a company. If
Mm,
Like, I worked at a paper mill. If I work for that paper mill and I create a process that streamlines the operations for a paper making machine, when
hmm.
I leave, that belongs to them. I don't take any part of that. But my experience and my education and how I was raised and all of that is what it took to make that solution. So how do I protect myself? So he showed us to go to, because you need funding to pay for the professor that will teach the class
Oh, okay.
and add a class. So I started soliciting small businesses and local businesses, and that's how I got into the business community and found that there was such a huge need for websites. This was 2000, early 2000. And so I started building websites. That's how we started our web design company. And I found that for Black owned businesses and minority owned businesses, that a website wasn't enough. You know,
Mm.
needed more structural type of direction. We needed to learn how to drive traffic and then business management. So slowly I started coaching clients. After I built the website, they were still coming to me. And then we created a formalized program that we found is successful for Black, Latino, Indigenous women, that we cannot run our business the same way that white men run their businesses.
Mm.
Just have an idea, write it on a napkin, and go to the bank. And a lot of the frustration that we have is like, why is this so hard? It shouldn't be this hard. I'm doing everything that they taught me to do in business school.
Mhm.
That's for corporate America. They don't teach you how to run a small business when you are from a disadvantaged or disinvested group, because we cannot go to the bank. And even when we do go to the bank, they're not going to give us what we're asking for that's going to be sufficient to move the business forward. Also, a lot of the ways that we start businesses, because we are not used to infrastructure, we don't come from generational
Right.
infrastructure from other generational business owners. We just don't know. We know about the selling plates. We know about the type of hustle mentality. So it's not that we don't have the hustle and the grit. We don't have the structure. So we got a grant from GLAC and IKEA and
Oh, okay.
Digital Undivided. And we use that to start the Small Business Academy or Technical Assistance Center. So the last class we did, just for example, was a chat GPT for business owners, for small businesses. How can we use the technology? We're all tech focused. Every business, we say every business is a tech business. It's 2023. You are a tech business. You're a tech business. You,
Mm.
you have to be. So we teach AI, we teach automation, but in a way where I'm from the South, so we call it cornbread.
Okay.
Cornbread is the easiest thing you can make from scratch. It's just a couple of things. You can barely have
Yes.
any food in the house and you can make cornbread. So we teach it in cornbread. You don't have to have a technical background, because I'm using basic principles, and you don't need to know all of that. You just need to use it to run your business. You're not trying to become a chat GPT guru. You just want to use it. So we do a 1 hour class, we have workbooks, we have trainings, we do cohorts. We offer our services to directly to business owners, and we offer our services to organizations like chambers or businesses or nonprofits that put together accelerator programs.
Mhm.
They have the money and they have the idea and the drive, but they don't know how to connect and make culturally competent trainings. Like, don't just talk to us about, oh, we did a training on marketing. Well, what does that have to do? How does that translate into something you can actually use for a business owner that can't just go to the bank and throw ten and $20,000 behind marketing? How
Right.
can we do it in a way that makes sense? So that's what we are. We're a small business academy, and our focus, we service everybody, but our focus is Black and Indigenous and Latino women. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's so interesting because with I've been in business for a number of years, and women, a lot of my clients are very adverse to technology, and I guess they haven't tied into how it's a tool. Everyone's business has to have a system, and you have to have tools to help you facilitate the actual services that you offer. And so they're quite resistant to that.
Yes. Yes. And so some of the statistics that I use, Brookings Institute released a study about Black women in business, and it was jarring. The statistic is less than 3% of all Black women owned businesses have been open for more than 5 years. That is crazy.
It
That
is.
that is terrifying. Actually, that is terrifying. Most of our businesses, most business owners, Black women business owners, are overly educated,
Hmm.
have more education than other women and other men that start businesses. We usually are working a full-time job when we start our business because we cannot get sufficient capital
Right.
to start the business. So what we put in place is a transition. How do you use AI? How do you use automation to make your business look big, So while you're at work, your business is still in the background working for you. So we teach them how to use automation, how to use workflows, how to convert people without having to talk to every single person, and you
Mm-hmm.
still have your full-time job and transition out of that. So it's
Wow. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh no, I said it's just a different way of thinking. We cannot use the tools and the roadmap um, that has been used for just for mainstream America. We can't use that because it doesn't work for us, and that's where a lot of our frustration comes from. Because we want to. It's like I'm doing all the things.
And it's not. Now, do you also prepare them for to do contracts with corporations, and so not just the basics of running their business, or that just being an entrepreneur, what that entails, but how do you prepare your business to be scalable?
So that's the biggest part of what we do. Why is this such a high failure rate? One is because we choose businesses that can't be scaled,
Mm,
industries that can't be scaled. If you're making lemonade, you have a lemonade stand, there's only so much that can be scaled until you have to change the narrative of how you're doing business. So in the foundational aspect, once we're talking when we're doing foundational things, the first thing we're doing is we're getting that certification. Certified as a vendor with the city of LA, certified as a vendor with the county of LA, certified with Cal eProcure, going into sam.gov. We have a whole series on just sam.gov because it's a beast. But we go through and we do click by click instructions. That's the
mm,
difference between the technical assistance that we offer. Because culturally, that's why it's culturally competent. Culturally, if you said, Niall, where's we're at my house, where's the flower? I would,
mm-hmm.
oh, it's over there. I would walk you to where it is and I would show you. If you
Ah,
ask me how do I fix this door, I wouldn't say, oh, you just put the hinges on it. I would show you how to do it. And that's what's lacking in technical assistance. And that's why we call ourselves a small business academy, because we're going click by click. Click on this, don't click on that, it's going to get you hung up. Click on this so that you can get that cage code, your UEI number that they're using now. We did Wednesday, we did a Dun and Bradstreet training.
oh,
Yeah, we did a Dun and Bradstreet training where we went click by click, because you can't do government contracting without Dun and Bradstreet. You have to have that. So we
yes.
have a road, and that's the roadmap that we found throughout the years that works. In our Q1, we do every quarter, we do a strategy session. Part of your strategy session is getting to corporate contracts and government contracts. That should be the bulk of your business.
Oh, wait a minute, Gilbert. Hold on a second. No, you're not. Gilbert says he's in the, as a guest. I'm saying, no, you're not. um, yeah, it's so interesting that you said that. I was with some. I was networking last Friday, and I met these young ladies, amazing businesses, and they really truly need to be in the contractual contract space because of the fact that that the type of business. So one of them, she had created a business where she um, identified. Yeah, Gilbert is not here yet, Greg. Welcome, Greg. She had identified that there's always an over surplus of prescription drugs on a large scale, right? But
Yes.
there are smaller pharmacies that didn't have or couldn't get to the access of some drugs. Some of them are not available because all of them are going to the larger pharmaceutical companies and pharmacies. So she's created a technical network where she can match make. Actually, she can find out what excessive overage that the maybe the hospitals have, or say the CVS's, or um, the Walgreens have, and then she makes that connection and then they can exchange their excess and provide them for the small job. I thought it was just brilliant.
That is amazing. That is
But
amazing.
she is not. She said she went on to do her setup in Sam's and Ramp, and she said I just got so confused. It was so much. I decided not to do it. So, but I was telling her she needed to be on a larger scale because she was doing it individually and having to make these connections on her own. And I told her you could be doing for the government. And not just small onesie twosie types of things. And she's been in business now for probably about 10 years.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So, and then her sister had a business where she did all the legwork to find event of locations and places that people can have their events on a large scale, because that's pretty overwhelming if you're going to have an event and you then have to spend all that time trying to locate a facility that fits in your budget. And so she does all of that work, and she too should be doing it on a big scale.
So that's what our programming is for. I don't know if you've heard of Path to 1555.
No.
So, Path to 1555 is a collaborative response to a couple of studies. But what it says is it goes through the whole racial wealth gap, and it promotes a solution. And this is the main reason why we do what we do, is because this is a solution to close the racial wealth gap through business, through entrepreneurship. So Path to 1555, and they done its data proven that if just 15% of Black owned businesses are able to hire one more employee, it grows the American economy by $55 billion. So right now, at the current rate that we're going, it would take 228 years for Black families to build wealth equal to white families.
Yes.
If we were to get on path to 1555, that time is cut down to almost nothing. So Black business ownership is a proven path to wealth and job creation, because we can't just have Black business owners. We need to have Black business owners that can hire.
Right. Exactly. But they have to, again, a lot of their apprehension is they don't, and also women don't generate the type of revenue that men generate, right? Gilbert and I talk about this all the time. You in fact, I think there was a report done by BET number of years ago, and it was showing the difference between how much revenue women owned business, Black women owned business owners generate versus the men. And it's almost a 20% or almost close to 30 or 40% increase. A difference in the two amounts. So she may be doing, and I see this from my women owned businesses, they may be doing 80, 90, maybe they may break 100,000 a year, which is not enough money to hire employees on a consistent basis part-time. But the men are like a quarter of a million doing the exact same job. So how do you, what are some of the processes you guys at your academy to help women uh, close that gap?
We focus on infrastructure, we
Okay.
focus on business strategy, and then we focus on mindset.
Mm,
Because even having the strategy and having your certifications and making these contacts, we have to step into entrepreneurship in a different way. Not that we have to lose our femininity, but the niceness that
mm,
we are taught to experience the world in, and allow the world to experience us as being nice, and agreeable, we have to ball that up and put it in the trash. Leave that for family environments. I don't recommend even keeping it at all. I believe in having an assertive behavior because, and the thing is, I actually was raised mostly by men in an
Okay.
environment of male entrepreneurs, and I wasn't taught to be nice or to play nice or pretend. I was taught to be assertive and to have boundaries and enforce them. And in business, we cannot come, especially being a southern woman. You know, you're
Mhm.
just taught to be kind and polite and all of that, but when it comes to business, there has to be boundaries and rules. And I was talking to a lady. She's a hairdresser. She moved from Ohio to LA, and the new boundaries that she had to enforce with her pricing and
Mm.
putting people in a system. You can't just call me any time of the day. You know, you have boundaries in at the beginning with your clients to say, hey, this is the way that we communicate. These are my hours. This is my response time. Even now in my system, in order to communicate with me, you have to go through my system. You have to put your information in. It has to flow a certain way. You can't just request my time immediately at any moment. And that's something that we have to change. And the biggest part is, as women, we don't charge enough. We
That
need.
is a big issue right there, man. We and I do I have my theory why that is. What do you think is the theory? Gilbert and I. Gilbert, welcome to the welcome.
Finally.
Man, I feel like a novice here trying to get into this thing. Man, woo.
What do you feel are some of the challenges that women have, um, or adverse challenge they have to charging what the market rate is or what their value is?
Well, the first thing is women entrepreneurs are not really believable by male entrepreneurs in the establishment. So, as a result of that, most female entrepreneurs are not taken seriously. Now, when it comes to charging a price, because many female entrepreneurs know that they're not taken seriously or they're not the first choice, then they try to break into the marketplace by lowering their prices most of the times. And as a result, people see them, or consumers see them as maybe they're not that credible because their price is too low. It's not the going market rate, it's too low. So that's really what it is. And even minorities have the same problems. We try to break into the marketplace with a great product and great quality, but the consumers don't see us that way because they're used to the other groups.
So
And it's
now, so how do you address that, and how do you help women um, elevate to that level where they're not being aggressive, but they are being assertive in order to demonstrate what their value proposition is, and that is really no different than the males. It might be better, actually.
Right. So Gilbert hit it on the head. You know, systemically, especially Black women, when people see us, a lot of times they see us as help, that we're going to help them out of this situation. We're going to save them. And so they trust that we're going to get the job done. That's not an issue. They know we're going to get the job done. They know it's going to be amazing, but they don't immediately realize that they have to pay us. So I coach them to lead with payment collection. We talk about money in the first conversation because I want to eliminate you out of my I want to eliminate you as soon as possible. Yeah, I want to eliminate you as soon as possible. And what usually happens is that person ends up coming back to you because they know you can do the job. But when they come back to you, they have an understanding that this is going to cost money, uh, and I'm going to have to pay. and I don't try to change anybody's behavior. That's why I push them to corporate contracts and government contracting with those certifications, because that automatically commands a certain dollar amount. And then when you go into other conversations, you say, hey, no, I've done work for this person, that person. And it lets them know that you're going to have to pay me. But the biggest part of it really is the mindset of the woman, though. So we do a lot of behavioral coaching and undoing a lot of the trauma that working in corporate America has done to us, of having to make ourselves small, of
Mhm.
second guessing ourselves. Even when they're talking to me, they're questioning, what is my dream too big? Am I thinking too big? And I'm like, what does that even mean? That doesn't exist. That's something that somebody told you one time when you were 5 or 6. Somebody told you you were bossy, and now you're always afraid of being bossy. But that's their thing. You are a entrepreneur. You set the terms of how you're going to run this business, and you're going to do it in a way that serves you. So it's really, a lot of it is about mindset and getting past the trauma that really has been put on us as a people and as women, the way that we've been dismissed in a lot of ways, to realize, hey, that's their stuff. But at the end of the day, if you want the job done and you want it done correctly, that's what I'm going to lead with, and here's my price. Pay it or I'm going to move on. And really tell them, don't worry about sounding aggressive. If you say no in the lightest, politest, most amazing, sound like a hummingbird voice, it's going to seem aggressive because you told them no.
Because you
So,
told them.
because you said no, and they're not, a lot of people are just not used to being told no. It's like, well, I'm going to give you some money, but that's not the terms of the agreement. This is not what I want. Have a nice day, enjoy your life, and move on. um that's all I can say. Is it's all about, it's really, really about the mindset of the woman.
And to add to that also, I believe if more women entrepreneurs present a formal and professional approach in the way they conduct business.
Hmm.
So, for example, everything you do with a client, make sure there's a contract. Make sure the contract is well written. Make sure the contract is signed. Don't ever start doing work if you're a service provider. Don't ever start doing work without having an agreement or a contract. So they'll take you seriously. They know you're not playing because in that contract you're going to outline the terms and condition of this engagement. And if you require a down payment up front, they know that there is a down payment up front. So you pay, the 50, 60, 65%, whatever it is that your policy is to charge a down payment, and you don't move from that. You stick to that. And some people are going to come to you and they're going to say, well, I wasn't expecting that much, or I don't have any money. Can't you waive the down payment? No, we don't waive down payments. That's what the agreement is. Or we could structure a payment plan for you. You see what I'm saying? So that's really what it is. And the more women owned businesses um, stand firm on those policies, the more they'll get respected. Even if it means you got to lose a contract to be firm on your principle, you got to do it.
Yes, always be willing to walk away. Always be willing to walk away. That, I mean, that's part of enforcing boundaries in any part of your life.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to say, I'm not trying to change your behavior. This is what you're doing, but this is the behavior that I accept. So I'm gonna, like Shark Tank says, and for that reason, I'm out.
So let me ask you though. So you are an engineer by that's what by trade.
Yeah, I only worked as an engineer for like a year and a half. And I
Okay.
realized that I just wanted to be an engineer, just because the way I chose that. I was always really good at math and really good at science. Um, but it's not something that I wanted to do. Once I started working with business owners, I that's when I started my company. After like a year and a half of working at the paper mill, I was out.
Oh, okay. Because generally, in the engineering, technology, those are kind of male dominated spaces anyway. I would imagine women I mean, if you were going into that, you know you have to be far more aggressive than, say, if you were opening up a bakery or something, that people deem to be more a female type of business. But businesses like construction and things that are predominantly males, do you not see a different characteristic in those women versus the women that are maybe in businesses, service based businesses like accounting or what have you, which, you know, could be definitely female led?
I, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I see the same types of issues with mindset all around.
Mm,
No matter what the industry, it's the experience that women are having in general in life, that societal norms that are on all women. For me, I grew up around mostly men. Even
mm.
when we would have, I have 10 siblings myself. I have five sisters and five brothers. So those
Okay.
are just my siblings. But we were inundated with uncles and aunts and things like that. And we had more of a community raising. And I was a particularly yeah, child that needed a lot of attention, let's say that. So, so while my mother was working as a nurse and I got in trouble at school, my uncles had construction companies. My grandfather had a construction company that he allowed me to work at during the summer from the time I was 12 years old. He paid me $100 a day, but he expected me to perform while I was there. So he treated me fairly. He paid me fairly. I was always around those types of business minded conversations. People took me seriously. I always had a voice. Even in those environments, I had a voice at 13, 14. So being in a male dominated environment, it just was like, it doesn't matter. You still have to respect me because my uncle said you have to respect me.
Go get my uncle and get on you. Right, exactly.
Right. So when I went into engineering, certainly usually the only female, especially as the classes go further, and then being the only, you start to see less and less black people. It never bothered me because I know who I am, and I'm going to enforce my boundaries. I'm not going to allow you to violate me. But I see that same behavior, that we all have. That it's just that corporate America as society has pushed that down in us and made us make ourselves small out of fear that we won't
Mm.
get this opportunity or that we'll be cut out. And which is fine, and you won't get all the opportunities, but you will get the one that's right for you, and you can structure it to make your exit.
You know, in my practice, I usually use what I call KYP, knowing your personnel. And
Mm,
I've found that to be very effective when I'm working with certain types of clients, whether I'm familiar with them or not. If I apply that KYP um, approach, I tend to learn more about them and then I deal with them accordingly. I'm thinking a lot more women entrepreneurs could do the same thing. Now, with the KYP, knowing your personnel, they usually fall into one of four categories. So you've got the controller, the stabilizer, the analyzer, and the persuader. So when people score in this exercise, they usually score higher in one of the four. And then the second highest would be a second one. So let's say your controller, for example, your score may be a 14 or 16 on that out of 20. And then controller usually go very well with analyzer, because analyzer, you analyze stuff a lot like a bookkeeper, an accountant, an engineer. They are a lot more analyzer because they analyze a lot. Controller would be someone who's a leader, who leads very well. They give task and assignment, they delegate. So when you combine controller with analyzer, you have a very powerful type of personality. So if a female entrepreneur is doing business with any group, a male or female group, the first thing I would recommend them doing is to assess that personnel to see which one of those four categories they fall into. Because based on the how how they score in that category, then you can present your style, your information. A stabilizer is somebody who they want peace among everyone. You know, they don't want any war, they don't want any problems. They just want everybody to get along. The controller is kind of like me, A-type personality. You know, hey, get this thing done. You know, and if I give you a task to do and you can't do it or you're dragging your feet, then I'll just jump in and do it myself. I say, okay, give it to me, I'll do it. So that's a controller. The analyzer is the one who really analyzes things. You know, like I say, a bookkeeper, an engineer. You know, those people sit down, they study stuff, they look at it like a bookkeeper, an accountant. They look at numbers, and
Yeah.
you know, certain professional services consultants, they analyze things too, you know, because they're very analytical. So that would be a good trait to look for when you're doing business. So when it comes to your clients, if you find that you have a client who's a persuader, that means they either talk a lot, they like to talk like a salesman, they like to, hey, you know, try to convince you about stuff. Those people usually have 50% facts. Have 50% facts, and then they make up for the rest of it by talking. You know, they try to convince you, you know, like those three
Well,
car,
the salesperson.
yeah, the salesperson, you know, the car dealership dude. So, so when you identify someone like that, then you strategize and know how to go after them when you're trying to do business. So, I would recommend the KYP exercise, and you know, at some point, Neil, I'll show you how that works because I'm telling you, you make a killing on this, man. When you're when you're meeting with someone, the first thing you do is analyze them. You size them up. Which one of
Yeah.
those four categories they fall in? Because if they're a stabilizer, right? Stabilizer, you know, they're like a social butterfly. You know, they like to talk to everybody, be friendly. Hey, how was your weekend? How was your dog? You know, all of that stuff. So if you know they're like that, then you can carry on that kind of conversation with them to win the deal.
Yes.
You know, but if they're a controller, you know, they're no nonsense. They're not into that, you know, cheap talk. They don't want to talk about useless stuff. You know, they just want to talk about a project. They want to talk about the deadline, the outcome. You know, that's it. So then you talk to them on that level. So that's how I'm seeing how women entrepreneurs can elevate their status and get some respect in the marketplace.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you within within the academy, do you do that role playing, something similar to what Gilbert is saying? The help, you know, because if let's say you were raised, you know, more from a you know, your mom, but she wasn't that. Well, she most women have some sort of assertiveness. They may not be as it may not be
Direct.
yeah, direct, but they usually get what they want or get their way using the techniques that work best for them. But sometimes the indirectness of that does in business is more detrimental to you as a woman than just being direct. So how do you help them adjust that if that's not part of their natural personality?
We do help them write scripts.
Ah.
Yeah. So we do help them write sales scripts, pitching scripts, and then we go back and we analyze it. So the first thing we analyze for is jargon. You know, that's the biggest part when we go through the business model canvas that Gilbert, when he's my coach, some years
Mm-hmm.
ago, introduced me to the business model canvas. That helps get rid of all the jargon.
Yes.
It's like, oh, well, what do we do? Well, we are a capacity building technical assistance center for BIPOC women identifying individuals. We, you know, all these words. Okay, so, but what do you do? I don't know what to do with that information. I don't know what to do with that information. And we have to uncover that. And part of that is deleting all this unnecessary stuff. Like, look, No, we go through the emails that they sent. It's like, this is 4 paragraphs. Who's going to read a 4 paragraph email? Who's going to read a 2 paragraph email? Nobody's going to read that. So, we give them a cadence of whenever you're reaching out to a customer, you're asking them one thing. What time can we meet? That's it. That's your first conversation. I have Tuesday and Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Which one of these works best for you? Period. We're not selling them anything in the first conversation. We don't sell because you don't even know what to sell because you don't know what they value.
Mhm.
So the first meeting is just, let's talk. In that meeting, this is the cadence that we have them running. In that meeting, all you're doing is listening for pain points. You're just digging and digging and digging for pain, finding the fallout in their operation, making a note of that, but you're just listening. No talking, no selling, no saying, well, I do this and let them get it all out. Say, well, when our customers call, or it takes me so long to send out a proposal, bam, in my mind I'm saying that's pain. And then I would say, when it takes you a long time to send out a proposal, how does that impact your business? How does that
Mm.
make you feel? And I just keep with that line of questioning so that they they get to self realization of, hey, this is not working in my business. I need to do something about that. And then when we get to that point, I say, okay, based on what you said, and then I say exactly what they said, based
Mhm.
on what you said, that getting out proposals is taking you a long time and making your customers not feel valued. What we can do, we tie every solution to a problem. It's never about what you sell, it's about what problem do you solve. You only talk about solutions. So, as part of that process, we help them kind of filter out all of this extra talk and the talking in circles that we do because we think we're making that person feel comfortable, but what you're actually doing is confusing them and losing their attention because you're not talking about a solution to their exact problem. So we do that. We don't do specifically, Gilbert, what you just brought up,
Mhm.
but that's why mentorship is so important because I will be looking into that and we will be adding that.
You
Uh,
know, while we're talking here, I was just thinking, man, wouldn't it be neat if we just did this assessment live on the air with you right now so you can see what
oh,
your score is?
I'd
But
love to. I
but
already know what I am. I'm the
I think I know what you are too. I mean, knowing what I know about tell me what you think you are.
I am the what the old people used to say, cut the fat. If this old country people, if you
Right,
talking to them for a long time and
right,
you going into song service, they'll say,
yeah.
okay, cut the fat. Like I just want the meat.
So I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. So what you just told me about some, one of the participant giving dishing out fat, that right there, you quickly went in and you analyzed that and you say, yeah, you're chomping up too much fat right here. You need to, get rid of the fat. Get to the point. That's the analytical part of you. You see what I mean? And then what you said just now about, I'm just to the point. I don't want to play games. That's the controller part that comes out. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I said I believe that you're a controller analyzer. That's what I think your score is.
And I also
Absolutely.
think when as a woman, I know from my own experiences when I first started in business, um, and I wanted the journey, the entrepreneurial journey. You do. I'm kind of I'm not a direct salesperson. I am more of a soft sell. I help you see why you need to do what you need to do, and then
Mhm.
I let you do your own stumbling, and that's how I learned from my mother. Let you do your own stumbling. Then I was like, okay, so that didn't work, right? So let's get down to business and let's do it my way. I'm gonna let you go through your whatever you doing, but then at that point, then I start to get results, right? And that's both for men and women. And I also find, and you can tell me if this is your case as well, the more knowledge that you possess, if you're always increasing your knowledge base, and when you come at a male or a female, especially a male, then they start to go, wait, you do know what you're doing. You do understand the business that you're in, and you do know how you can help me. I have found that to be very effective in how I interact with male clients versus and female clients for that matter.
You know,
People appreciate.
I'm listening to Crystal talk, right? And I think you and her share the same qualities on this KYP controller, analyzer. So let me tell you, working with a controller, let me tell you what you need to do and what you don't need to do.
Mhm.
So as working with a controller, this is what you do. You ask direct and clear questions. And tell me if I'm wrong, both of you. You ask direct and clear questions of them. You present the facts. You plan your presentation for efficiency. You provide specific data on the outcomes of options. Be direct, precise, and straightforward. Present items with options from which to choose in deciding or making a decision. Refer to objectives and results to get them to buy in to your ideas. Keep interruptions and distractions at a minimum. Stay on task and focus on the issues at hand. Support objectives and results if you agree. Deal with the facts and not with the person if you disagree with them. What do you think? Do you think that match any of you guys?
Pretty much so.
So,
Okay, now let's
absolutely.
look at the don'ts. Do not do this with folks like you guys. All right. Expect to get expect to get to know each other before you conduct business.
Absolutely not.
That's the one I was telling you, man. The controller is not into small talk and all that. Hey, how you doing? How's your family? How's the weekend? Controllers are not into that. Just get to the point. Why are you here? I got 15 minutes. Here's another don't. Don't ask questions that distract from the task at hand. Be don't be disorganized or linger after finishing business. Don't leave ambiguous issues. Don't persuade or on a personal level. So you're trying to persuade them from a person like, hey, this will work for you instead of for the organization. Don't make commitments and offer unrealistic guarantees. Mm-mm. Don't attempt to direct or make decisions for them. Oh, they're pissed off at that. Don't waste their time or say anything that you do not mean. Don't make a big issue out of the fact that you agree with them. And don't let any disagreement indicate that it is because of them personally. Those are don'ts when people are dealing with controllers like both of you guys and me. Now,
um,
now look at the analyzer part now. The analyzer, it's pretty similar to the controller, but it says always use direct yet diplomatic approach. Take your time, but stick to business. Have your presentation thoroughly prepared and know your subject. Be organized, be specific and precise. Use tables and charts. Oh, that's Crystal right there. Use tables and charts. Give sufficient information to support your ideas. See, I work with Crystal for so many years. I know what makes her tick. So if I'm trying to present something to her, Neil, I'm not gonna give her stuff in text, like a big 5-page paragraph, because I know she's not gonna look at that crap. If I give her like charts and a PowerPoint presentation with bullets and graphics, oh, I'm telling you, she'll eat that up. You see what I'm saying? So I know those things about her, and it's the same thing I'm trying to say with your female clients that you work with. If there's certain things that's germane to them or to the client, they need to know what it is that's important to the client and do those things. So that's just what I wanted to go over with this. I
yeah,
can.
women are different, and mainly because we have to play two different roles, right?
Yeah.
Because we have to play a role, especially if we're in relationships. We have to play a more, I hate the word subservient, but we have to take a back seat to the man of the house. But then we got to go out, and but if we're operating in a business world, now we got to put on a different hat,
Yeah.
and so it's a juggling act with us, right? You got to be soft over here, but you got to be defiant and definite over here. So it's a
But see,
struggle.
the thing about that though, Crystal, if you are um, a subject matter expert and you're providing information, you're not going to take a backseat on that. You're not going to do a subservient role. You're going to present your information as assertively as possible. You see what I'm saying? Because you're going to say, hey, listen, I'm the authority. And there's a subject that I want us to discuss on this podcast, maybe in the next 4 or 5 weeks. You and I talked about this, co-host.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Dunning and Kruger effect. The
Right.
Dunning and Kruger effect. That means someone who is not a subject matter expert coming to you and you're the subject matter expert because you've been doing this for 20, 30 years. And they're coming to you and trying to make it look like, hey, Crystal, you don't know what you're talking about. I've been doing bookkeeping for 3 weeks now. I know what I'm doing. That will just make you go crazy. So it's the same thing with you, Neil. You're knowledgeable. When it comes to IT stuff, I defer to you because I know that's your space. I would never, ever try to tell you stuff about IT, which, I'm not an expert. I may have read something 3 weeks ago and try to act like I'm an expert. No, I'll defer to you for that. And, that's the thing with women as well. So men and women are subject matter experts. So you just got to assert that, when you're dealing with your client, whether the client is a male or female, whether they're government or commercial or non-government, you assert that. And, there's a diplomatic way of doing it too. It's like, no, you're an idiot. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to say, well, let me show you a different way of doing this or saying this.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm thinking,
will say what helped me navigate that, because again, I did grow up in just a more aggressive environment, and
Mm.
this was in a more aggressive environment,
yeah,
um, that is not appropriate in business.
yeah,
So I had to defer to finding mentors and even people that maybe I've never met, but I watched those women. I
yeah,
watched how they speak.
yeah.
I watched how they handle conflict,
Mm-hmm.
which was it was just mind blowing to me how to remain in your femininity,
Yeah,
to remain in your softness, as
yeah,
Crystal was saying, that duality that we have to have. But even in that, enforcing your boundaries and being assertive. I
yeah,
I love to watch women that are before me, that are ahead of me in their journey, that they've got the lumps and bumps and they've learned from their mistakes and they're more finessed in their
yeah.
approach. And I mimic that until
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to do it myself, until it was natural for me, to not just say, "Oh, that's stupid," because a lot of times things are stupid. One, you know, one time I told a professor, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life." It was dumb. It was absolutely, was it dumb? Yes, it was. Was he wrong? Absolutely, he was wrong. That was inappropriate to say in that moment, though.
you
But
know, some
but let's take what's happening in the world with women today. And Greg has said, "Men smart, women
women
smarter."
smarter.
So
Yeah.
if you look at what's happening today, there's some isolated cases. So there's been a lot of with Kamala Harris. when we saw her in the state of California, she was a force to be reckoned with, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But when she became the vice president,
That's a
she's
good
been
example.
quieter,
Good
right?
example.
But lately, she's come out, especially with some of the things that Nikki Haley has said.
Yeah.
She's come out and said, "Look, wait a minute. Now you're seeing the real
Yeah,
Kamala Harris."
she's
You're like,
strategic. She's strategic because the thing about it is she recognized that Biden is a leader. He's a president, so
yeah,
she
we
has
got
to take a subservient role to him. She knows that she has a strong personality, but she didn't want it to look like she's trying to overpower him. So she takes that subservient role. But when it comes to being the attack dog and another female who's talking smack, she'll jump right out there and say, "What are you talking about?"
Well, Greg said the sister in her has been hiding, but then take the women that are going after Trump, right? They ain't playing. They are showing you they have their masculine energy on display, and they're making sure. Just I when you have a strong mom, and when she has boys and girls, but she has boys, and as they grow older, she has to change her approach. They have to know that she means business, even though she may be smaller, and but she rules with a mighty hand, right? And so women, we're some amazing people because we have to put on different faces. And that's summertime. It's summer when she took her shoes off. And I'll throw my shoe at you. But I watch the difference, and we sit back and we do go, okay, let me analyze this and let me have a strategy. Because when I come back at you, I'm coming back at you with everything I have. But making sure you don't think that I'm a hysterical woman. He comes back with the power. So basically, what are your thoughts on that, Naomi?
Yeah, it's always fighting that angry Black woman trope. That's just what we have to do to deal with the angry Black woman or hysterical woman or being emotional. And that's why we have to be strategic with any response, that we have, but still enforcing our boundaries. Now, I will say Kamala Harris, she has been doing a lot of things behind the scenes.
Yes.
And making moves behind the scene. But for us as women in business, and like you said, the duality, like I have 5 children, 4 boys, and a girl. So yeah, as they got to a certain age, it was like, oh, let me introduce you to the new mother, because we need to change this. Okay. I see where this is going.
I see what I need to do now, right?
Okay. So, but it is very important, and because we know that any outburst from us will be taken out of context and used to tarnish our brand and as being incompetent.
Right.
And our competence is always in question. That's why we have to create that separation with, this is business. These are not my friends. I'm not at home. I'm not amongst people who love me. I'm in a professional environment with contracts. And that's what the infrastructure is for, to put those boundaries between you and your potential client or your cohorts, to let them know that I am to be taken seriously.
I have a 2-part question. How many of your clients do you have as friends? Or I should say, how many of your friends do you have as clients?
So I don't have any friends that are clients. I have clients that over the years have become friends. After the work is done, the initial work is done, I make sure I keep a clear boundary, because I don't sell products. I'm a service provider. So we're in communication. It's not just a one-off. But I have a clear boundary there, even when my friends do come on as a client,
Yeah.
they understand that that part of me is off, and
Right.
that you're now a client now, and all the boundaries that that are in place for clients
Yeah.
are also in place for you. I co-own a business with my husband. My husband is a drug addiction uh,
Counselor.
counselor, and we have houses in Kentucky where we do treatment. I handle the operations and the tech part of it, and the foundational grants and things like that,
Yeah.
but he handles treatment. That's what he knows, that's what he does. And when we operate in that environment, we
Hmm.
have strict rules and boundaries of how we operate with each other
Hmm.
in that environment, because we understand with the duality of our relationship that our competency
Yeah.
may be called into question.
Right.
So if we have a disagreement, it is in private. If
Yeah.
we have anything like that, it's not even, hey baby, it's Nael. No, contact the operations, contact the COO. We keep that separation there because we understand that this is a professional environment, and in this environment, this is who we are. We still have the warmth there, but this is who we are in this professional environment. And then once we step out of this environment, we even have, we were in the car yesterday on the way to Bible class,
Right.
and he asked me something. It was 6 o'clock. I said, it's 6 o'clock.
Have
He's
have
like, oh my God,
have
I'm
you
so sorry.
have you ever heard women say men should just be more emotional? They need to share their weakness with us. They should cry to us. Have you ever heard that?
Well, I'm not a counselor. My husband is a counselor. I'm not a very emotionally in touch person, so I
Right.
always defer those questions to like, let me get you a counselor that can
Yeah.
direct you a lot. I can only talk about in business, but
Yeah.
what I do is I always say you can never tell somebody else how they need to be. You
Yeah.
can observe how they are, and then you can determine whether you're willing to engage with them. But people are who they are. You can't tell them they need to do this. It's like that's their boundary. That's who they are. Are you willing to accept that behavior? And if not, then take your ball and go home.
Yeah, and we're some of our experiences, right? So, a lot of times I think people have to kind of reach a rock bottom on their own. It doesn't really matter if I tell them that or not. If they don't, if they are not in tune to that, or they're not in tune to who they really are, they're not going to respond. That's what happens in male female relationships all the time.
So the
And that,
reason the reason I brought that up is a lot of women will tell men, you need to show your sensitive side. You need to go be more emotional.
I don't
Cry
think
to
I've
me.
ever, Gilbert, I have
Share your
never told a man that in my whole entire
I know
67 years of
you
life.
don't. I know you don't, but I know a lot of women who do that, right? So then the men say, all right, this is a safe place. I can do that. So then you start sharing. And guess what they do? The same weakness you share with them, when they get in a fight with you, they use that against you. That's why you're this, and that's why your father doesn't love you. All of those things, right? So the reason I'm bringing this up is it's the same thing with when you have a friend as a client. Certain things that they know about you that's personal. Let's say they don't pay their bill, and you send them a demand notice. Hey, pay your money. You're behind. I'm charging you late fees and penalties, and they still didn't pay. And say, all right, I'm taking the small claims court. They get pissed off at you. Then they start using the personal things that you shared with them.
But
So
I think as a woman business owner, I think we learned that very early on
Oh yes.
that you cannot mix the business. You might do that with a male,
right,
but you were not going to do that with a female because it, here's when we learned that. We learned that when we first started dating and we shared a discomfort that we had, or
with somebody.
if we were not happy with the male we were with, the boyfriend we were with, and we
Yeah,
shared that with our girlfriend.
yeah,
And I'm talking 15 years old when we learned that one.
They use it
And
against you, right?
it gets used against you. We never do that again.
Yeah. So the reason I bring that up, when some female entrepreneurs, they feel that it's a safe place because they got the sisterhood, the sisterhood. I can share things with you.
No.
But
We don't function like that, Gilbert.
No, I don't know who you've been talking to,
well,
Gilbert.
trust me. I've dealt with a lot of females who they became they use their friends to become a client with, and then things start going out of control. Then that person start airing all of their personal secret out there, and then now they have a problem. So with me, I don't really share any of that with anyone, and I recommend that because women entrepreneurs, they're just like a minority entrepreneurs. They're in a weak position, and they're trying to be stronger. So by galvanizing and teaming up with someone else, you feel that's a good approach. But not everyone is good to team up with. And if you make a friend a client, that could be a problem for you.
Well, I will say it's not a problem when we talk about, remember in the beginning, I talked about operations and having infrastructure and using AI and using automation. So you can't not pay me. I never put myself in a position where I can't where I cannot be paid. You pay me up front. I dole out my services. If you're on a payment plan, then I dole out my services. I'm always in a position that if you don't pay your next invoice, it's no skin off my back because I haven't done the work yet. So I learned that early on. I used to have a band when I was in college, and I was the singer and the band manager. And we would get to a show, and I'm on stage singing, and I'm counting the door because this is the arrangement that we had, so much a percentage for the door. I'm singing and I'm counting the door. And then at the end of the night, I'm collecting the money. And the very first time a club owner decided that he was not going to pay me, well, we didn't get this many drinks bought and this and this and this. And I won't tell you how that story ended, but I did get money.
I bet you did.
Did you hit him with a shoe?
No, it didn't go there, but it could have.
Proverbial shoe.
Greg says she is a business and a business.
She's a business and a business woman.
No, because I had to pay my babysitter who was watching my children. So I'm not leaving here without my money. But what I understood in that moment that, okay, this is inappropriate in that that I'm functioning, I have this many functions. There should be a buffer between me and this payment collection activity.
Yes.
And I talked to other artists and they said, oh, you can't be your own business manager. It's somebody is supposed to go in before you ever start singing, collect your money, and somebody has to be the bad guy in your business. So in the business that I have with my husband, I'm the bad guy.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. I'm the enforcer of boundaries. We have operations in my business. Again, zero. Exactly. Gregory says zero accounts receivable.
Yeah.
No, I have boundaries in place. I have auto draft. I have processes in place that people know you cannot talk to me without paying me.
Right.
You can't. If I have free things that are out there, I have free YouTube videos. I give free information on Instagram. But if you want a consultation, it's $150 to $250 an hour is my consultation rate. And guess what? I'm worth it. Because after you talk to me, I'm going to give you actionable items that's going to turn into money for you. And I do not take I don't have money for this and I don't have money for that. That's fine. Then let me be an aspirational product for you. I have aspirational products. Arlen Hamilton has a event called Your First Million. It's 70. The level that I want to participate in that event is $7,500. That's an aspirational event for me that I'm going to put whatever I need to put in place to make sure that happens.
I know
when
you're like that, and that's one of the qualities I really like about you as an not just a female entrepreneur, but as an entrepreneur. Because you stand on business. Okay. Now, Crystal is a good cop. I'm the bad cop. I don't care. I don't care to ruffle any feathers, man, because I'm all about business. At the end of the day, you request a service, you pay for that service, I deliver the service. Don't talk to me about you don't having that money when the deadline is up, because I'm charging you 3% late fees. I don't care who you are. If you're my mom, I'm still charging you late fees. This is business. I'm standing on business.
I haven't had well, I'm pretty straightforward about my money, and for me, clients know right up front if I find it actually an insult if you don't pay me,
Yeah,
because I provide, everyone knows the type of customer service that I provide for them,
yeah.
going above and beyond. And so, my take on it, if I'm willing to go that distance for you, then your job is to pay me. And so if you don't, now at this point, I'm feeling like you are disregarding the value of what I have. But before we kind of close, I want to ask you, Gilbert, before you came in, Niall was saying that their academy is providing training for business women on how to utilize chat gpt, the
Mm.
technology of systems. Can you tell, just for our audience, what are some of the benefits? Because I know there's a lot of controversy on AI, and in fact, I just heard something today in Congress. They were back and forth that it's just going to degrade the whole political system because AI is going to be pulling out and changing dynamics. But can you talk on what are some of the benefits as a business owner of utilizing chat gpt and AI in their business?
so is that to me or to Gilbert?
No,
That's
to
to
you.
you.
Okay,
You the
okay.
technical person, he not.
Okay. Yeah, Gilbert actually got to attend my chat GPT training.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first thing I say is there's no need to have fears about something replacing you. A computer program cannot replace a person. It just can't. It
Mm-hmm.
just can't. A person is needed for a lot of types of reasoning and personal services. But what it can do is it can eliminate all of the busy work, the menial task that we're spending so much time on, and it can eliminate you having to hire for those roles. So instead of hiring a virtual assistant, instead of hiring a social media manager, or in addition to hiring a virtual assistant and social media manager, you can generate a lot of this content through ChatGPT or other AIs and then turn all of that over to your virtual assistant. So they're just keying it up in your systems. Like we use Go High Level, which is something that will automatically post all this information, automatically post on my social media. So what my play looks like, one of the things that we did was, if you know, social media right now has these viral 6-second videos. Well, because it gets so many plays, because the music is cycling over and over and over, and there's information that you're reading on the screen, the person doesn't realize that they've watched this 20 times.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you do that? But you're a small business, so your time is valuable. You can't spend time, you cannot be, you should not be on social media and spending time on social media as a business owner. You just shouldn't. If you're going to be on social media, you should have a timer set of this is how much I'm going to consume and then get off of there. It is a time suck. So you go into Canva, and we did this during the class. We went into Canva, we found a stock video, we went into Chat GPT, and I had Chat GPT after I created something called a persona, taught it a little bit about my business and my audience. I had it create 50 phrases, 50 short phrases, quotes that are relevant to my business. We downloaded that into an Excel type of file, or we copied and pasted, put it into Canva, and had it auto generate 5 videos that type those words out. Then we took those videos, downloaded that into a zip file, and uploaded it in bulk into YouTube. Just like that, couple minutes, you got 50 videos that are out, that's pushing out content, that's promoting your business with an action item so that you can introduce that person into your funnel. This is doing it on its own. So you introduce them into their funnel. So I have a free Friday grant class that we do, is 30 minutes. That's the step one of my funnel. I use that to eliminate people, and I use that to get additional touches with my clients, with my potential clients. I'm doing that in bulk. I'm having 20, 30 people sign up every Friday. I'm getting their name, email address, phone number. I'm introducing them into my funnel. My system is automatically sending them emails weekly. It's automatically sending them relevant information. So now they know, oh, this is what she does. Now I have this problem. I'm going to go to her, but I have spent no time. I've spent no time on that. I I put that in place one time, and now my system is automatically doing that. This is why it's so beneficial for minority owned businesses and women owned businesses, because now we're looking big without having to spend all this money that you have to spend to use social media, or all the time it takes to generate content or think about what you want to do. So those are the benefits. And then we talked about what are some things you need to watch out for. One of the things is it's gonna give you incorrect and information that's not factual. So do not use this for legal documents. Do not use this for things like that, and always double check the whatever it generates for you. It's going to be unseasoned. This was written by a certain type of person. So it always speaks from a standard American type of corporate speak. So it's going to be unseasoned. You got to go in and add your flavor to it. The information can be outdated. Also, a huge part is do not put in to chat gpt your proprietary your proprietary company trade secrets. It is a learning software. It's a learning type of software. Whatever you tell it, it knows it now, and when someone else asks it, it's gonna tell it
Give
to
it
that
to them.
person. It's gonna
So
generate
when
that.
did you do this class? In fact, I was just Greg says, are you using 3.5 or 4.0? But I was just on a workshop today. I teach kids how to be entrepreneurs, and our one of the facilitators today, we're talking about helping the kids use GPT to help them generate ideas for businesses, because sometimes they get stuck on that. And but she was saying, I think I need to go to another class. So I need to know when you do this. And I think I'd like to participate, because I think that chat GPT is the next level of really enhancing services that you already have. I know I've had to use it. Greg said if she's training it, she's probably using 4.0. He answered his own question. um, but I know I've had to use it in a pitch. Somebody one day reached, like, can you teach a class? And I was like, what do you want me to teach it on? And then when I looked at my archives, like, oh heck, okay, I don't really have that right now. So I went in and I used Chat GPT, and then it gave me the outline, and then I could go
Right.
in and put my flavor to it, and voila, I had a presentation to present that night, and I had about an hour and a half to make that happen.
I think
Exactly.
Chat GPT was written from a general practitioner standpoint. So the information they provide is usually general,
Mhm.
but if and like Neil said, if you put your personal information on it, so let's say Crystal, you requested information from Chat GPT. Hey, I'm trying to write a business plan here. I'm writing on uh, bookkeeping service or an accounting service. So the information that Crystal puts in there, Chat GPT remembers that. So when another bookkeeper or accountant comes and say, hey, I want to do a business plan in bookkeeping or accounting, they're going to use a lot of the data they collected from Crystal to put in there, right? So
Yeah.
that's where, people need to understand that what you're getting is generic stuff and other people's uh, type
But
of
yeah, it's
data.
collecting data that's already
Right,
out there
right.
on the internet. But that's what she was saying. You got to
Yeah,
put your sauce to it because it's got
yeah,
to whatever you're doing needs to sound like you, right?
yeah, yeah,
So you have to make it sound like you. So that's what I did. It gave me an outline,
yeah.
which is all I needed was to get the brain
Right.
juices running. Because
And
sometimes it's
see, that
hard.
works for you because that's all you wanted. Now, I have a client who, and Neil, you know who he is because he was in your class too, and he said he liked the Chat GPT. But he wanted to do a contract between him and a client, right?
Mhm.
And he wanted to use Chat GPT to do that. I said, no, 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 don't you ever do that. Because he's going to be putting his personal information and the client's personal information in there. Going to be putting terms and condition, maybe dollar amounts and all of those things and, certain types of language. So when ChatGPT collects that and somebody else wants another contract written, they're probably going to be getting a lot of his info. So I told him, I said, listen, man, you may need to reach out to an attorney to get this contract written and have it done specifically for that particular client and that particular project. But, Chat GPT, it's done its course, it's done its generic stuff. You don't want to put your contract in there.
But I think that's all technology. I think it's just like using Canva. Canva gives you a platform. It
Yeah.
gives you a format. Now
Yeah.
you got to format that to yours.
To your
You don't have to
specific need.
create the you don't have to create the structure. The
Yeah.
template is there.
Yeah.
Now you take it and you make it your own. So I think that's in anything. I would say anything that any technical tool that I have
Yeah.
used, that's been my experience. Now,
Yeah.
yeah, that's your area of experience expertise. So, would you say the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a total solution, but it is a game changer for small business. Like you say, you needed to have that presentation done in an hour and a half. You could have taken what it generated and told ChatGPT, break this up into 5 slides. And then
Mm-hmm.
after you did that, you could have said, put this in the form of a spreadsheet, copied, paste it into Canva, and it would have automatically generated 10, 20 slides. It would have had all of your content on there and it would have designed it for you in seconds.
I
And
want to
see,
attend
that's
one
the
of
part
your
I need to
classes.
know because I did it. I had to go in and create the slide. When is your class?
So the chat GPT class is usually part of the cohort that we're running next month. And then it's also companies, organizations, and accelerators pay for
Okay.
the group class. We usually do it as a group.
Okay.
I want to say shout out to Genesis Joyner. She's one of the viewers here in the chat right now,
Mhm.
and she's one of my former clients from Pepperdine University. So I just want to say shout out and thank you for joining the Business Zone. We're on every Friday from 3 to 4:30, and if our guest is spitting out some hot information, we'll extend it to 5. So, okay, so that's what it is. So thank you, Genesis, for joining us, and we appreciate your participation and your questions. I think you had made a statement earlier, which we didn't get to. It says, "Don't say anything in private that you won't want to hear in public." And I think
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
a
that's
good
true.
saying. That's very good. Very good.
Well,
And
you are exceptional, my dear.
Yes,
And
yes.
I really enjoyed our conversation. And I like the fact that one of the things we sometimes we have to do, I think, with women entrepreneurs, especially the ones that are just starting out, is to give them permission to be their best selves. And
Mhm.
whatever that looks like when you're interacting with business, and business has to be conducted as a like business, not business, but
yeah.
as a business. And so setting those boundaries. I know when I last year I had to incorporate a calendar, a system. I no longer will do my own appointment setting. And then I was getting so much pushback. It's like, well, if you want to meet with me, that's just the way it's going to happen. If you don't want to meet with me, then that's okay too. But this is the way it happens. Um, Letting them know my hours from 9 to 5. Don't call me. And that's sometimes what friends will do. And don't call me at that time. If you're going to call me after 6, it cannot be about business. Don't ask me anything about business because I work between these hours.
Yeah.
And that's when I address those hours. But other than that, no, I ain't talking about that after time. So yeah, we do have to set boundaries.
Trust me, folks. I know that boundary that she sets. I can't call her. I can't call her on Saturday. I can't call her on Sunday. Sometimes I want to talk to her about certain things. I said, "Man, I gotta wait till Monday because she's not gonna pick up the phone."
You better write it down.
Yeah, I gotta write it down.
You can email Monday. It to me, and I'll pick it up late Sunday night, and I'll address it on Monday. But I love what you're doing. So your academy itself is, you're saying, organizations purchase your services, and then they bring their which is what GLAC, I guess, is done.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
How do people get a hold of you? How do they get involved in your program, sign up, get you as a coach? How do they do that?
So you can purchase our classes through the website. We have a monthly membership where you can attend all 3 classes for the month. And we do click-by-click instructions during the class. It's $350 a month right now.
Okay.
For the monthly membership. We do offer individual classes, like we just did the Dun & Bradstreet one. You just have to follow us for that. Yeah, definitely. Greg said pay up front. Definitely have to pay up front. And then we have our what used to be CEO School, but our pre-recorded cohort that goes through setting up a business from startup all the way to getting government contracts, click by clicks on how to become a certified, woman-owned, minority-owned. The whole thing that is launching next month. That's called From Worker Bee to Boss Bee: How to Step Out of the Minutia of Your Business and Function as a CEO. And that is it's a pre-packaged course, self-paced, that you can pace yourself through. And with all the assets, the workbooks, everything, and ChatGPT is part of that. Or again, if you're an organization or a business and you have a few business owners, you all get together, we can customize a class for you. So you can go to our website. You can also go to our Instagram and DM us the word BEE for our From Worker Bee to Boss Bee class. Yeah.
Can you put in the chat right there on your side? Can you put in your website so I can make it available on this side?
Oh, yes.
You can put that in the private chats.
Yeah, and then I can your handles and what have you, and because I think what you're doing is phenomenal. I think that's what is missing. A lot of our businesses are operating like in the 19th century, and they need to come up to what's going on now. And I think they also need to. It sounds like you kind of dispel the fears that go what they go along with that. I mean, I have
our field correspondent Greg said operators are standing by. We accept
with credit cards.
All major credit cards.
And we do.
Greg is something else, man.
But I've found that even with accounting, and for years I tell people get your accounting software, QuickBooks, or whichever one I'm training on, and then I'll say to simplify and make the your weekly tasks minimize, then you can connect your bank account. They're like, oh no, I can't do that. Like, come on. And I tell them, but you don't have a problem using Zelle and Venmo, but you have a problem using QuickBooks.
Like,
they'll learn the hard way.
QuickBooks do not want your money. They're not going to steal your money out your bank account. It's so hard to explain that to people.
Yeah. Right, exactly. It's like you will use Zelle as your business money tool
instead of QuickBooks.
But QuickBooks, which is a encrypted bank level system, you don't want to use that. Okay, y'all just doing too much.
The Cash App, Zelle,
Cash App, and all of those. You'll use all of those, but you will.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Crystal.
So it's just interesting, but those are the challenges I have with my financial clients is that they have a trouble. They have trouble getting into the technical world.
So,
And
what platform do you have your classes on, Neil? Is it
it's it's run through our
Patreon?
no. Everything is run through our website because remember we are initially a web design company. We just don't
Uh,
take web design clients anymore just because it's not beneficial for us or really for clients because you can get a website for $250 or something.
Hmm.
But no, it's all run through the website. The new course is going to be run through our Go High Level platform, but every purchase is made through the website, and then it just pushes you to
Mm.
that platform. Also, Teachable is a great platform too.
yeah.
Yeah, I've looked at Teachable, Kajabi, and some of those because that's our next level. Is to I was telling Gilbert is to create courses, um, um,
Well,
to
we already
generate.
have the courses. We just need to post them on the
Yeah, they got to. Well,
platform.
they got to get into to
The
the
platform.
platform and the
Yeah.
systems the way they're set up, and then of course you have your extra tools and things like that. So, yeah, that's our next. So Teachable, I've seen. I've actually worked with that a little bit, and then I think Kajabi is another pretty decent one out there as well. We want to attach it or let it work cohesively with the business zone, and that's how we want to do our courses.
So, folks, if you like what you're hearing here on the Business Zone today from our very special guest, Miss Neil Cook, then you can reach her at her website at https colon slash slash AVERCOMVS.com. Okay. Go ahead and copy this right now from the chat. And after the show is over, go ahead and reach out to our website. Check it out, see what it's about. And you'll be pleased about what you see. She's very innovative. She's got all kinds of things going on. She's got this tech center going on. It's in Culver City, correct?
Yes, we're actually located in the amazing Blackbird House in Culver City. It's a beautiful black-owned co-working space. It's
Oh,
owned by Bridget Cheadle. She's an amazingly accomplished interior designer, and it's just a beautiful space. They have a lot of events there, but that's where we work out.
oh, okay. And it's called Blackbird.
Yeah, the Blackbird House. Oh,
Oh,
you got.
I don't
Oh,
think I've ever seen it, and it's in Culver City.
yes, it's amazing. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Well,
You
you've
gotta
been
have to
awesome.
invite us over there so we can teach we can teach a little one course here or there, you
Let's
know,
do it.
get people. I was telling Crystal that it would be good for us to have our podcast broadcast to your pool of folks over there at Blackbird and other places that you, so they understand and they can also be invited to be a guest on this show as well. So
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
to help promote their business. So yeah, we want to work together like that.
I love it. Let's do it.
I think it'll
Okay,
be
well
fun, man.
we'll talk offline and see what we can come together. You're absolutely amazing. I think I met you at Glac when who was it with someone? Oh, when we had the last the last class that when the BEP class ended, weren't you with um
Selena.
No,
Selena?
I was supposed to be there, but I wasn't there. I was
Oh,
at
okay.
prior to that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
she's
that was the
phenomenal, man. She's phenomenal. She's helped me do some work on my website as well. So you know me, I'm very protective of my website. I don't just let anyone go into my website. I
Yes,
let her in my website. So you know that's
barely.
some trust
barely. I know. I know.
The
You
worst.
don't you don't have to say anymore. I know.
there. I let Neil into my website, so you know that's some trust there, right?
Yeah, yeah. Technology is not his thing.
Exactly. Greg would say you got to wear a mask to get to the website. I mean,
Yes.
like re-vetted me. I'm like, how long have we known each other? He re-vetted me. What are we doing? But just go in there and do one thing. Don't touch nothing else. I wasn't going to. What do you think I'm doing back here?
It's all love, Neil. It's all love, man.
I know Niall. I know what it was like.
It's the same thing with Crystal, man. She has to jump through hoops sometimes.
It's okay.
Yeah.
That strategy has kept you safe thus far. Keep it up.
But yes, folks, she's phenomenal, man. If you want website work, any of those types of works, she's just phenomenal. Plus, you need to go visit her center over there at Blackbird. She is just an amazing entrepreneur, and she's a mover and shaker. She's been talking to some people that I don't know. I'm going, damn, how you meet that person? So she knows some people.
She just told you she's not timid. She was raised with men.
We're talking about some Congress people that she knows.
Awesome.
Going, dang, this is good stuff,
Good
man.
thing.
This is good.
Many women out there are just doing their thing quietly, but stealthily, but powerfully and dynamically. They're just killing it out there. But there are others that do need that assistance. So fingerprints and passwords. You're absolutely right, Greg. That's what it requires. Fingerprints and passwords. Niall, thank you so much. We're going to do a quick little commercial for people to go over to our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. We need your likes. We need your subscriptions. We're on the road to monetizing the Business Zone. This year will be 8 years that we are on the air, and it is time for that to take place. We have an archive of over 700 videos on our platform, on our YouTube channel. So please go over there. You can go to the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert and hit the subscribe button, or you can take a picture of the QR code right there, and it'll take you straight over to the YouTube and hit the like if you enjoyed the show today, and hit the subscribe if you want to be notified tomorrow.
We're trying to get some of that Shay, that Club Shay and Cat Williams money, guys. So subscribe, get us up those numbers, okay?
Well, I don't think we're gonna do what they did to get their numbers, but it's a good thing. I ain't knocking it, but
it's a good goal to have, right?
Yeah, we just don't have that kind of controversial conversation happening over here.
Our field correspondent Greg said, "Peanuts from the court jester."
Right, exactly. But thank you, guys. Thank you, Niall, for coming. Please feel free to come anytime you'd like.
You are welcome. You've got an open invitation, so you can come back. If you want to teach a class live on the air, just a little synopsis. You don't have to go real deep. You just, let the people know what's going down.
And I have another platform I would love for you to come over. It's called the Community Briefing. I launched that during the pandemic. It's introducing our business community to the movers and shakers that are out there. That's pretty much to the Black corporate or entities. Greg is actually our co-host over there. My co-host over there.
He won't be there to harass you.
We've been on the air for 4 years. It was an inspiration during the pandemic.
Tell me how that got started, man. You keep not taking the credit for your
I just told you.
You gotta tell Neil how that got started.
It got started because I just knew that as a people, we don't always get the information in a timely manner. We don't find out who our power people are, people like yourself. If we're not in each other's circles, we'd never know that. So that's the purpose of that platform. And so we do a weekly show. It's on Zoom, but I live stream it onto Facebook and then go back and put it on the other platforms. But it's an awesome platform.
Man, she never like to take credit, man. I'll jump in here and give her damn credit and her flowers. Man, this started
and Greg said it's not how it got started, man. It's how it got finished. How it finishes.
It's how it finishes. That's right.
Yesterday we had the amazing George Frazier He's a networking guru, powerful
Yeah.
guy. That's just we had him on. We had Michael E. Washington on the week before on how to do procurement at the airport. So these are people that definitely in your space. So
Yeah.
um,
They're
I'm
community
humble.
resource people.
Yeah, good resource people. So we hope to see you again, my friend, and we're gonna sign off. Any parting words? Did she freeze? Did I
Yeah,
freeze?
she's frozen right there. So, co-host, while we're waiting for Neil to come back on, um, she said
Oh, she lost.
send her the link to Dr. Fraser program.
I certainly will.
Yeah. So, so while we're waiting for her to come back on, so I received this big old certificate in the mail yesterday, and I'm going, what is this? It's a big old congressional citation
Oh,
from
awesome.
Congresswoman Michelle Steele. You know who she is?
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yes. It's saying thank you for contributing to the Filipino Chamber of Commerce of Orange County boot camp training program, because I think I did two classes for them. I did one on capability statement and another one on maybe back office. So she sent me that, and I was thrilled. I was really thrilled to
Well,
have that.
congratulations. That's
Yes.
awesome. Well, look
So
at that. Getting your flowers. That's
getting my
awesome.
flowers. So
We're
that's why
getting
I'm
your
giving you your flowers, because I know you don't like to take credit for what's been going on, man. I'll be that little hype person in the corner for you. I'll be,
well,
you know.
it started with me, but now it is grown because of the whole team over there. So Greg is amazing. He does that whole hosting thing quite well, and his jokes and the
Greg, it's not that kind of citation. This is an honorary an honorary citation from the federal government. He
well,
said,
awesome. I am just so pleased. So take a picture of it and let me see it. We're
yes,
gonna
yes, I'll
we're gonna
definitely send
sign off so we don't get into that 2 hour marker and then I can't rerun the show.
it.
So thank you all. Thank you,
Thank you,
Greg,
Greg.
for comments. Enjoyed that, and Niall was awesome. And so
And
we will see
Genesis, thank you for
in
tuning in
Genesis.
also. I
Yeah, and we
I
will
hope
see.
I hope the information we provided today was very helpful to all of you who are viewing and listening to this program. Just remember, go to YouTube and hit that subscription button, and also hit the like button. I want you to like our videos. We've got over 700 videos on YouTube, guys, because we've been doing this business zone for this is our 8th year. We're also going to have a celebration party this year for honoring the business zone. Uh, of course, it's the brainchild of my co-host, who doesn't like to take her flowers, but I just love to give her flowers and see how it makes her feel.
All I know is media is the way to get to the people, and other people use media to do what they need to do. So we have to use it for our benefit as well. Niall, thank you so much for being part of us today, and we will. You're welcome to come back anytime, and yeah, let's do something together. And I will make sure my producer from the other show reaches out to you so we can get you on. You bring value to our communities, and we want to let everybody know that you exist out there so that they can take part in all the amazing stuff that you're doing.
And they're going to send you the link to the
Thank
Dr. Fraser program also from the
The
community
show
briefing show
yesterday.
yesterday. So you'll have that, and maybe you'll gain access to Dr. Frey. He's pretty mysterious. It's difficult for you to get a hold of him, but if
No,
you
you're
can get a
not.
hold, if
I
you can get
can.
a hold, Crystal can get a hold of him. So if she can
But
connect you, that would be a good thing for you,
But
Neil.
actually, I think you would be you would do he does this Power Network conference every year.
Yeah,
And this year is in North Carolina. It's 4 days. It's the most amazing place of being in the room with Black professional and Black business owners that are making things happen.
yeah.
It's like 4 whole day. You come away. When I came away for the first time, I felt like I was finally in a place that people spoke like me, looked like me, act like me, and was doing business as I did. I came away feeling like I had just gotten transformed to my own Wakanda. That's how powerful the Power Network conference is. So I will send you the information about that. Huh? I'm sorry.
I want to go to
You want to go to Wakanda? It's incredible. So George is talking about that as well. But yeah, and then you can connect if you're interested. He should be out here. The conference is in June. He usually comes out in April or May to do a mini one here. If you're interested, I'll make sure you get an invitation when he comes. And then he'll give you some spectacular offer. Last night the conference is like $2,300 or $2,400. He gave a deal yesterday for $499 for the 4 days, and bringing a young person because young people are that's the future. So if you can bring a young person with you for that $499, that's what he offered yesterday. Generally, the conference, when it comes here to promote the conference, it'll probably be somewhere like that as well.
I think Neil has a son who is thriving for entrepreneurship, and I'm glad I've got both of you on here today because she wanted to get her son involved in your BizCamp program too.
Okay, so, I will send you over the information. We're working on the details now.
Yeah.
All righty, guys, we got to come off of here because I'd like to be able to rerun this show, but I can't if it gets to 2 hours. Without it costing me more money.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you, my co-host. Greg, thank you so much. Genesis, thank you for tuning in. I think we had Fernando on here as well. So thank you all, guys. Thank you for streaming with us. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking our videos. And we'll see you again next week from 3 to 4:30. And who do we have coming up next week, Chris?
We have Robin Billups next week.
So we have the amazing Robin Billups. And you guys are going to get some real nuggets from her. She's amazing. So
she's a connector. So she's pretty awesome. Everybody knows Robin, and Robin knows everybody, even more so than me.
That's right.
All right, Gilbert, take us out.
Do you want Neil to stay on the call so we can talk to her afterwards? Or
I got to run.
Oh, you got to run. Okay.
Well,
I can't see my video from here. So
okay. So I got to be you. We got to figure out why you are not getting on like regular.
Me out.
Okay, I will sign us out, guys.
In the community.
Have a good one.
Co-host.
Oh, there we go.
As a small biz pro, so we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.